Alright guys, in this worksheet we're going to do some practice with functions, inequalities, and equations. So this is kind of like an extra review before your test. When you are with me up at the direct instruction table, we're going to be working on 4 problems together. In this station, you're going to be working with a partner on 4 problems. So kind of you need practice here and you need practice with me to see how good you get at this. So we're going to start out, we're going to do 1, 2, 5, and 7 in this video. So I want to start out with number 1. So make sure you follow all my directions throughout this too. If I tell you to pause the video, please pause it and do that. So I may work on some of these with you though. So let's start by reading number 1. It says, a lake owner charges $80 for a day's guided fishing trip, plus $5 for each pound of fish caught. Write the equation that describes the total charge C for the number of pounds P of fish. Make a function table for the input-output values. Alright, now, as we go through this, remember when we write an equation, if this were x and this were y, I always said start with y equals. Now, since we're not doing x and y, we're going to start with this variable because this is y. It looks like an either, but it's actually a c. So your equation is going to start with c equals. Now remember what c is. C is the total charge for the number of pounds fish. So P is the pounds of fish. C is the total charge. Now, we're going to go over to our function table and we are going to kind of fill out this middle section here because this is going to get our rule and then we're going to figure out the values for C. So remember, there's 2 types of charges here. It says it's $80 for a day's guided fishing tour. So no matter what, you are paying that $80. But it's also $5 for each pound of fish caught. So that can change. The $80 a day is a constant. So let me zoom in on this a little bit. So for my rule here, no matter what, you have to pay that $80. But it also depends on how many pounds of fish you catch. So it's going to be 80 plus $5 per pound, so it's going to be 5 times P. Now, when I create my function table, if I catch 0 pounds of fish, it's going to be 80 plus 5 times 0. And 5 times 0 is 0, so you're just going to be paying the $80. So remember, this is C, the total cost. Now, if you catch 1 pound of fish, you still have to pay that $80 because that's for the day, plus 5 times 1. Now, 5 times 1 is 5, so you'll be doing 80 plus 5, which is $85. So 1 pound of fish, you pay the $80 plus $5 for catching that pound of fish. For 2 pounds, you would have the $80 plus $5 per pound times 2 pounds, which would be 90. And then for 3 pounds, you would have your $80 plus 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, so add that to 80, you'll get $95. Also notice when you're looking down here, you'll notice that this is going up by 5, so there's also a pattern there. Now, to get your equation, if you can get this table, is kind of easy because you already have the C equals. To get the other side of the equation, you just take this rule up here, 80 plus 5p, and that's your other part. So you should have C equals 80 plus 5 times p. That's how you find the total cost. So think about it. The total cost is $80 plus $5 times each pound of fish you catch. So that is number 1. Now for problem 2, I'm going to have you guys do this, but I'm going to remind you how to do it. In problem 2, it says graph the function from exercise 1. Now, here's my reminder to you. To graph the function, you need the ordered pairs. So the ordered pairs come from our x, y values, or in this case, p, c values. So 0, 80 will be one of your ordered pairs, 1, 85. So you can write those down if you want, or you can get them right from the table. I don't care. I'll start with 0, 80. And your job, remember down here, this is pounds of fish, this is the charge, is to basically graph that chart. So pause the video, make the graph, and then restart it to see if you're right. Go. Okay, let's see what you got. So I'm going to write the ordered pairs because I like to do that. So remember, if you catch 1 pound of fish, it's $85. 2 pounds, it's $90. And 3 pounds, it's $95. So when I'm graphing, I'm going to blow this up a little bigger to make it easier. Remember, start with 0, 80. So I'm 5 at 0. I go up to 80. So that's going to be my first dot right there. And let me get my dots ready. Right there. Let me change colors. Okay, 185. You go over to 1, up to 85. It will be right there. 290, right there. And 395, right there. Notice you have a nice linear graph because it's forming a straight line. All right, so that's 1 and 2. Now, let us go down to 5 and 7. Now, in number 5, I'm going to blow this up nice and big. This is where we need to write and graph an inequality. Now, this is a simple inequality. It's not a one-step inequality. So I'm going to read it, and I'm going to highlight some important things while I read it. It says, in order to ride a roller coaster at the theme park, riders must be at least 52 inches tall. Now, it says, write and graph an inequality to show the safe heights for riders. Now, here is my hint to you, then I'm going to have you pause the video and try it. My hint to you is to start by writing out the numbers affected. So 52 will be my middle number. And I'm going to write a couple higher ones and a couple lower ones. Okay, so what I want you to do is to get your inequality, I don't care what letter you use, I want you to circle the numbers that will be safe heights for riders if you must be at least 52 inches tall. Once you do that, you should be able to get your inequality, whether it's greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, or less than equal to. So get your inequality and then pause the video and we'll see what you got. You don't have to graph it yet because I'll give you time to do that in a minute. Okay, go. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. We'll see if you got your inequality. By the way, I'm going to use H for safe heights for riders. I don't care what letter you use. So it says you must be at least 52 inches tall. So if you were at least 52 inches tall, you can't write it because 51 is not at least 52. 50 is not. At least means the lowest height you could be. That's what at least means, is 52 inches. So these are the safe heights. This is at least 52, this is at least 52, 54 is, or anything bigger than 54 are safe heights and you can ride the roller coaster. Now, how did you graph that? Well, I would say H, the heights, must be greater than or equal to 52 because all these numbers are greater than or equal to 52. Oops, let me get rid of my equal sign. All right, so H must be greater than or equal to 52. Now, if you had that inequality, great. If not, change it and just kind of try to understand why you had it wrong. Now I want you to pause the video and graph that solution. Remember, either open or close circle, and make sure you shade in the correct direction on the line. When you're done, restart the video and see if you're right. Okay, go ahead. All right, let's see how you did, guys. So when you are graphing this, first you got to decide of the circle. Since it's greater than or equal to, it includes the 52. So I'm going to put a nice closed circle on the 52. Now, as far as shading, remember you can think of this two ways. One is every height greater than or equal to 52, so you could just kind of shade all the numbers greater than, or think of the direction of your arrow. Remember, this arrow, this sign, looks like this arrow, so that's a hint that you know what direction you're graphing. So I'm going to shade over this way, and that's what your graph should look like. All right, so that's a simple inequality. Now the last one we're going to do is, I got to go this page this way, is number 7. This is going to be a one-step inequality, so we're going to have to solve the inequality and then graph it. So let's read it. I'm going to highlight important stuff while we read it. It says, a scale can hold no more than 55 pounds. The bowl on the scale weighs 5 pounds. the items can weigh p pounds. So we don't know what the items weigh. That can change. But we do know the bowl always weighs 5 pounds. Write and graph an inequality to describe how much the items p could weigh. All right, so here is what I know. I'm going to help you with the inequality, and then we'll have you graph it. So I know, or by the way, I'll give you this option. If you and your partner think you could do this on your own, pause it, do it, and then start it and see if you're right. Or you can kind of watch this with me and do it with me if you're not too sure. You guys decide that one. But I'm going to start. So I know P has to be the item, what the items could weigh. But the first thing I'm going to start with is the no more than 55 pounds. So I'm going to write those couple helper numbers, 56, 57, 54, 53. So the scale can hold no more than 55. So no more, no more. It cannot hold anything more. So I know whatever goes on that scale has to be less than or equal to 55 pounds. So that's the one side of the inequality, whatever goes on that scale. Now, here's what's going to go on the scale. The bowl is 5 pounds. So no matter what, that bowl is going on the scale. Plus, whatever else the items weigh. So the bowl plus P is the items that you're going to have. So think about that. This is the bowl plus whatever the other items weigh. That all has to be under 55 pounds. Now our job is to graph and see how much the items P could weigh. So because this inequality has something with a variable, we actually have to solve it. So I'm going to solve that below where I have a little more room. I have 5 plus P is less than or equal to 55. Now what I want you to do first, if you haven't already done this, is pause the video, solve the inequality, and then restart it to see if you were right. Okay, go ahead. All right, let's see if you were right. So to get this P by itself, I have to subtract the 5 away. And I must do it to this side. Cancel, and I get P is less than or equal to 50. So the items, that means the items have to be less than or equal to 50 pounds. Now, here's your last job. You have to graph this up here, just like we did for number 5 above. So pause the video if you haven't already done it, make your graph, and then restart it to see if you were right. Go. All right, let's see how you did, guys. So first off, open or closed circle, you got to decide that. The items, it says is less than or equal to, can equal 50 pounds. So you should have a closed circle on the 50. Now make sure it's on the 50, guys, because that's in our solution. Don't have it on the 55, because that was in the inequality before we solved it. Now the items must be less than or equal to 50 pounds. So you should be shading everything to the left. Also, remember this sign matches this arrow. All right, you are done with me. So your job is to finish up whatever you need to do in this rotation. Thanks.